grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there are only children's stories. Ugh. Emperor preserve us. What's up, everybody? Rob here. So, Warhammer Adventures, Games Workshop's latest attempt to expand the market, but this time by appealing to younger generations of readers. And I honestly have kind of mixed feelings about it. Now, I was planning on doing this last week, right when it came out. The announcement came out last week. I wanted to do it pretty much immediately. But I held back because I figured, let me look into this a bit more, let it stew in my mind, and let me come out with a more nuanced approach to this. And I'm glad I did, because my opinion of this has changed a bit. And this is just sort of a rant that I'm having. I'm not scripting this at all. It's just, my impressions, and I'm just going to go with it from there. So if it seems a little bit choppy, that's why. So I'm just going to be focusing on the Warhammer Adventures as it relates to the Warhammer 40k storyline. I really couldn't care less about Warhammer Age of Sigmar in any capacity. I was sort of a fan. I was starting to get interested in the lore a couple of years ago with the Warhammer Fantasy and 40k. Then I had to stop for a couple of years. Just, life took over and I just sort of, it fell away from me. And I came back about a year or two ago only to realize that, wait, they got rid of Warhammer Fantasy and now I got Age of Sigmar. And I'm trying to figure out what's Age of Sigmar all about. Wait, this is stupid. Yeah, it's like really stupid. I don't care anymore. It's stupid. So yeah, I'm just going to be talking about 40k and how it relates, this new Warhammer Adventures relates to the 40k universe. The Age of Sigmar stuff, I really can't help you there. Alright, so for the uninitiated, Warhammer 40,000 is a tabletop game, and it's basically you take armies, plastic miniatures that are vastly overpriced, but pretty cool anyway. And you have them battling one another on tabletops. It's sort of like chess, but way, way more advanced and more complicated. And, yeah, that's basically what it is. Now, as far as the lore goes, it is set in the 41st millennium, hence the 40k, and it is brutal. I mean, the catchphrase for Warhammer 40k is, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only war. And that's exactly what's going on. They coined the phrase grimdark. I mean, that's exactly what they are, and that's what they're about. The only human faction, the main faction that most of the plots center around, if you go into the lore at all, and there have been hundreds upon hundreds of books about every aspect of this, but mostly it's centered around the Imperium of Man. The Imperium of Man is a fascistic, brutal, repressive, feudalistic government run by an all-powerful ecclesiarchy. Basically, it's, the Catholic Church in space, but, way more genocidal, way more xenocidal, xenophobic to the extreme, yeah, 40k just does not pull any punches. And these are the good guys. For example, the Inquisition, which is one of the factions within the Imperium of Man, they think nothing of wiping out all life on a planet because it turned to heresy. If you don't worship the God Emperor, or if you fall to the worship of chaos, which are these, well, I'm not going to get into the whole chaos. There's a lot of people that can explain it far better than I am, and I'm not really going to waste too much time there. But yeah, they'll just completely bomb your planet into oblivion. I mean, you think of Star Wars. The Death Star can blow up a planet. Okay, just look up what virus bombing is. Okay, I'll take a Death Star over virus bombing any day. No question. So when I heard the announcement for Warhammer Adventures, I had to look into it, and my initial reaction was, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, there's nothing about this franchise, nothing about this setting that is in any way remotely good for children. I mean, you have just the most horrifying things imaginable. I mean, going right to their website here. So I checked out the website, and what you see on the screen right there are the characters of the upcoming book. Was it the Attack of the Necrons? I think it was, something like that. Any case, right there, those characters. So you have that young girl in the middle. It says right here, this is right from the website. 12-year-old Zelia is the daughter of a galactic explorer, Elsie Lore. She grew up helping Elsie with archaeological expeditions on dozens of worlds. Okay, so far so good. I mean, travel in the Imperium is not really that easy. You actually, to travel, this is very appropriate for children. What you do is you tear open a passageway to hell where raw emotions are made manifest, and there are demons there that will, if you're in a lot of luck, they'll only murder you. If they're not in a good mood, or if you get the wrong kind of demons, you're in for far worse than just being murdered or having your skin worn You know, like them skinning you alive and them wearing your skin and dancing around while you're probably still alive. If they just kill you, you're having a good day. Any case, but fine. Okay, so expeditions in dozen worlds, digging up ancient artifacts and alien technology. Okay, remember when I said that the Imperium of Man was xenocidal? What I mean by xenos is anything that's not human. The Imperium of Man has a standing order that anything not human is to be killed on sight. Well, sentient at least. So by digging up artifacts of alien technology, yeah, if the Inquisition finds out, you get a bolt round to the back of the head. There are no extenuating circumstances. There are no exceptions. You don't, like, you know, get to plead to ignorance or anything like that. You get a bolt round, which is an explosive, you know, basically it's an RPG, but in the shape of a bullet. You know, it's a grenade. And they just put one in the back of your head, like right there. Or they might torch you to get information, see where all your little friends are hiding, if there's any more of you around there, and then they put a bullet in the back of your head. Okay, like, they don't mess around with this sort of thing. So that is, like, major, major heresy right there. These are just my first impressions. Okay, so anyway, continuing on. Bright and resourceful, Zelia always thinks she knows best, but isn't as experienced as she tries to make out. Okay, yeah, fine. She's insufferable, but characterization. Sharing her mom's hatred of weaponry. Oh, yeah. There's no such thing as a conscientious objector in the Warhammer 40k universe. That's a good way to end up on the Inquisition's bad side. And more importantly, the Xenos you're up against, they don't care either. Zelia believes the best way to overcome fear is to learn about the universe. Okay. Doesn't stop her from being terrified of spiders after being trapped in the web of gigantic temple weaver when she was a small child. Okay, fine. Yeah, there's heresy written all over this. I'm not seeing the... Yeah, I'm just not seeing Warhammer 40k in any of this. All right, next up, you got this kid there. It looks like he's got a bar in his hand right there. Yeah, it's got the vest on, all that stuff. His name is Talon. He is and according to the website, the son of a loyal Imperial officer. 13-year-old Talon ran away from home to avoid being enlisted in the military. So he's a deserter. Great. He fell in with the Runic Warriors, a feral gang who lived in the tunnels beneath Ral Rata, the largest hive city on Targian. Okay, so basically, he had to join a gang in what is the Underhive. Now, the Underhive gang members these aren't like, you know, the Bloods and the Crips, okay? These guys are hardcore way beyond that. Like, the Inquisition that I was telling you about earlier, they're hesitant to deal with these guys, because we got, like, No. He would last, like, let's put it this way. If Batman tried to clean up the Underhive, he would last, like, all 5 seconds before somebody, like, you know, had his head as a trophy. Like, Batman would not last 5 seconds into the Underhive. Anyway, used to thinking with his fists, Talon finds it difficult to trust anyone but has a good heart. Not trusting anybody is actually a good thing in the 40k universe, especially people you don't know, especially gangs in the Underhive. Once he's on your side, you couldn't ask for a better friend. I'd prefer to somebody who wasn't a deserter from the Imperial Guard. There's dereliction of duty. A commissar will put a bullet in your head, if not the Inquisition. Well, the Inquisition probably couldn't be bothered with deserters. That's a commissary. Yeah, that's a commissar's job. But yeah, you're seeing a pattern here about how the Imperium treats people who step out of line. His little experience in the galaxy, hiding his insecurities beneath bluster and bravado. Okay, his only leak to the past with toy soldier, give him to his brother. Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. So basically, he's a deserter from his duties in the Imperial. And yes, 13-year-olds, child soldiers, yeah, that is perfectly acceptable within the Imperium of Man. They don't care. If you have, you know, if you can hold a rifle, you will hold a rifle. We don't care. Get in there, get back into the grinder. All right, last up, you got this last one there with the, off the side with the weird glasses in that on him. Okay, so it's obviously somebody from the Mechanicus. Name is Meki. Oh, yeah, that's real creative right there. Games Workshop, I just got to admit, no matter what, they really suck at naming things. Then again, I think they're just, like, you know, messing with us. Like the Primarch of the Iron Hands, his name is Ferrus Manus. It's just, okay, you put like 5 seconds to that one. Any case, like all Martians, and Mars is the center of technology, but anyway, Meki is the happiest when tinkering technology and is able to communicate with machine spirits that dwell inside computers and cognators. Okay, fine. A talented inventor. Okay, that's already a problem because that's techno-heresy, machines and technology in among the Mechanicus, which is the technical branch of the Imperium. They believe that machines are sacred, and if you start modifying or messing around with them too much, that's a form of heresy in their separate religion. It's complicated. But anyway, yeah, that's heresy there too. And the Mechanicum, I keep getting confused. The Mechanicus and the Mechanicum. One is pre-heresy, one's Mechanicus is the post-heresy. Yeah, in the 40k universe. Mechanicum is the during the Great Crusade and the heresy. In any case, the Mechanicus does not handle with these things. They don't care that you're like about your innovations. They see that as a basically you think you're better than the machine spirit. You're better than the Omnissiah. No, you're not. Get back in line. Well, actually, you don't get back in line. They just kill you. Anyway, a talented inventor, 11-year-old Meki, created the special robotic frame that supports his paralyzed arms, as well as servo sprites, a swarm of tiny robot helpers. Okay, he invented that. Okay. Again, techno heresy. Even though they do have augmetics. I don't know why he just didn't use a standard augmetic, but okay, sure, fine. Inventing something new from scratch, yeah, like I said, no. Mechanicus, the Mechanicus does not care. Even though they grew up together, Meki and Zeli have never been close. Meki prefers the company of machines to humans. I can't say I blame him. And often finds it hard to make friends. Can't say I blame him. He's incredibly tough on himself, especially when things go wrong. Can't say I blame him. So I actually like his characterization, but no, again, this is not something that would happen within the Mechanicum. Or the Mechanicus. Whatever. It simply would not happen. At least not, you can't change this and still be Warhammer 40k. Alright, so now let's move on a bit. You got the guy in blue next to him. Alright, that is an Ultramarine. Let's see how these guys get butchered. Sworn defenders of humanity. Space Marines are the ultimate warriors graced with superhuman speed, strength, and stamina. Yes, that is true. Genetically entered into flight in the countless wars of the 41st millennium. These towering giants have 2 hearts, 3 lungs, and blood that is immune to all known poisons. They are also child soldiers, or they are recruited from their home worlds as children, and they undergo this gene process before puberty hits, at which point they are then separated from their families forcefully, undergo these augmentations where they are turned into these superhuman giants to defend humanity as children soldiers, where they're also given hypno-indoctrination and are forced into the Imperial... Well, let's just suffice it to say that the defenders of humanity are... it's not a fun process. There's countless things about how to make a Space Marine. This all happens to, like, young teenagers, early teenagers, like 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old. Like, by the time you get to, like, 14, 15, the window to becoming a Space Marine is pretty slim. And last up, you got that robot-looking guy there. That is Necron. I saw that right away. I'm not big on Necron lore, but yeah, here's what it says for them. Long ago, the galaxy lived in terror of the sinister Necrons. According to legend, these evil tyrants transplanted their twisted minds into bodies of living metal, creating immortal armies of indestructible skeletal warriors. The Necrons enslaved thousands of worlds, but were eventually defeated, forced to place themselves in suspended animation for millions of years. Now they are rising from their secret tombs, ready to claim the universe they once... This actually is true. Yeah, it's just, they make it seem a lot less utterly brutal than it is. Anyway, led by fearsome overlords, their sickle-winged space fighters scream through the sky while swarms of cybernetic scarabs devour any metal in their path. Have no doubt the Necrons are unfeeling and unstoppable. Okay, that is actually true. Except that is not a Necron. Or that is a Necron, but they look sort of like these Saturday morning cartoon villains. These are what Necrons look like. Now, again, like I said before, I'm not very big on Necron lore. I'm more of Imperium of Man versus Chaos, that sort of thing. I'm right in the middle of the Horus Heresy series right there. Also, Hell's Reach, if you haven't read the novel or heard the audiobook. Fantastic, check that out. But, yeah, I'm not really sure about the Necrons, but I think that they're leaving out here is they don't want to conquer the galaxy. They want to exterminate all sentient life. See, their plan is, unless I'm horribly mistaken, to wipe out these forces of chaos by... chaos is fueled by emotions of sentient creatures, so the best way to get rid of chaos is to simply, eliminate all sentient life in the galaxy. They want to exterminate everything. Yeah, they're not trying to conquer people, they want to exterminate us. And the Orcs, and the Tyranids, and the Eldar, and all the others. They want them wiped out. I also want to point out that their weapons don't actually just, like, they're not just energy beams that they shoot at people. They flay people alive on a molecular level. People literally just disintegrate when they get hit by them, flayed alive layer by layer by layer. Okay? They are utterly merciless. Like, think the Terminator, but way more resilient. So these guys can, like, take massive amounts of damage. And if they are damaged, they actually teleport into a pocket dimension where they are repaired and then sent back out. So they become this never-ending stream of just, you know, mechanical horrors that flay people alive with high-powered energy weaponry. And that's their basic weapons right there. And the only reason why the Imperium or any other force can actually stand up against them is because they're, like it was said before, that they're slumbering. They are locked away in stasis of some kind. And they're only piecemeal, like only a tiny, tiny fraction of them are up at any moment, and you can kind of, you know, hold the line against them. You can combat them, and yes, you can destroy them under most circumstances. If you do enough damage to them, you can, you know, take them out permanently. But if all the Necrons rose at once, the Imperium of Man would last. Like, the limiting factor is Necrons actually have to, like, aim their weapons and then shoot at you. Okay, they're not like, nobody really has much of a chance against them. It would just be a slam dunk victory for them. So with all this in mind, I think you know what I mean when I said that I have no idea why they thought this was suitable for children. Now, if this is going to be part of a recurring line, you know, a continuing series within the Warhammer Adventures, they're going to have to move into other factions as well. Now, they might be able to pull off the Eldar or the Tau that they're running into and all that stuff, yes. But what about Chaos? I mean, there is a god of rape. Seriously, Slaanesh is, okay, you're going to say, technically it's true, Slaanesh is not the god of rape. Technically, Slaanesh is the god of excess and overindulgence. Slaanesh was also murder-fucked into existence by the Eldar. Seriously, that is a massive part of the Slaaneshi mythos, is that, you know, sexual debauchery of the highest order. Like, yeah. I don't see how anybody thought that this would be even remotely appropriate for anybody under the age of 18. You know, and yeah, I know maybe some high schoolers can, you know, figure it out. You know, it's okay, fine, but you know, like, this is not appropriate for a 10-year-old in this life. This is not, you know, the thing about the 40K universe is that it's not like Star Wars or Star Trek, which is this, you know, fun action adventure story. It's like, yeah, people get killed in those as well, but, you know, they just sort of fall over and die. They don't have their souls raped by demonettes for eternity. And, you know, like Obi-Wan, he gets killed by Darth Vader. He just sort of disappears. Stormtroopers just sort of, you know, fall over with a puff of smoke and a bright flash of a blaster. Phasers, I think the same thing. I'm not a huge Star Trek. I saw a couple episodes, but, you know, phasers don't really, you know, like, disembowel people. They have chain swords here in 40K, okay, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a sword with a chainsaw blade that just, like, makes a bloody pulp mess of shredded flesh and internal organs. And this is used by the good guys. So I don't see where they got the idea that this would be appropriate for, you know, for children at all. So all that being said, you know, given the week that I took between finding out about this and actually making this video, I actually can sort of see where Games Workshop is going with this. Now, they do want to appeal to a younger crowd and get them involved in the franchise. You know, get them started, you know, at a younger age so they can get involved. And this is a perfect way to do it. You give them a lighter tone than the standard 40K, and then you just, you know, let them get involved that way. And if this is a recurring series, and it should be a recurring series, get them really interested in. By the time they're old enough to really understand that sort of thing, you know, like the real hardcore stuff, like the standard stuff, you know, they'll be ready for it, and they'll already have a good background into it, and you know, it's a good way to get them hooked early. I personally think the best way for Games Workshop to go about doing this is have this separate from the 40K, like the regular 40K. I'm just going to say Warhammer Adventures for this and 40K for the regular stuff. In case, have this sort of like a separate pocket universe, like just something like a separate universe altogether, where everything looks like it's 40K and things act 40K, but it's not 40K. And that way it won't affect the core product. And that's really my issue that I have with any sort of expansions of franchises like this. Now, it's always good to bring in new people, always good to, you know, have, you know, to expand the fan base as much as possible and to appeal to as many people as possible. However, you have a very hardcore, rabid fan base here. You know, people who are fans of 40K, we love 40K, we love everything about it. And so if you have to, change things about it to appeal to a wider audience, all you're going to do is alienate us. I mean, fans of 40K, we're not so much interested in a swashbuckling action-adventure type franchise. We like the brutality, the grim, dark nature of it, the insanity, the disembowelments, and just the sheer, just sheer adult themes of 40K. That's what's the appeal. That's what the appeal is to us. If we want to do like a swashbuckling adventure, we go to Star Wars. And yes, I like Star Wars too. Star Trek, I really couldn't care less about, a bunch of space commies, but whatever. I like 40K for being 40K. If I want it to be more like Star Wars, I just go watch Star Wars. I'd get involved in, reading those novels and, getting involved in that franchise. If you have to water it down to appeal to more people, you're taking away what makes 40K uniquely 40K. And I can't think of any particular franchise where this sort of thing actually works. You have, a franchise that is built around a certain concept, a certain idea, and you take that away, even in a small way like this, and all that seems to do is water down the product. It alienates the original fans of it, and it's no guarantee that you're going to get any new fans from it. I mean, you're just basically turning the whatever it is, the property, into something else entirely. So I guess overall that it's taken me, almost a half hour to say is that I have serious reservations about where this is going to go. I truly hope that Games Workshop does not turn this into, and eventually this will bleed through and lead to a kinder, gentler, less crazy, less over-the-top Warhammer 40K. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, maybe, probably my fears are completely unfounded by this. I have been wrong in the past, and I'm more than happy to admit when that's true. Yeah, I really think they should do it in a separate universe. This Warhammer Adventures should just be a separate universe altogether from Warhammer 40K, and just have them separate, and one leads to the other. And I really have no idea how they're going to deal with the issue that little Timmy's going to see Warhammer Adventures, he's going to read it, love it, and then he's going to go and get one of the Horus Heresy books where there's some pretty insane stuff in there, and he's going to be scarred for life, and and then there's going to be a backlash from the parents. Oh my God, how can you allow this to happen? And then they have to put warning labels on it, and there's big issues with there, and it's just going to turn into a big scene, and there's going to be lawsuits and and we don't need that sort of thing. So yeah, they need to really tread carefully here. I mean, it can be a good idea. It can be a good idea. I will grant them that. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken. I freely admit this. I am just, and that's, but that goes beyond my initial. My initial assessment was stupid idea, bad idea, no good from this whatsoever. I'm cautiously, I wouldn't say optimistic, but I'm cautiously cautious. The idea is growing on me, but yeah, I still have my doubts and reservations. Really, it depends on how I think they're going to handle it. So, yeah, just a quick rant video that I decided to put out, and by quick, I mean less than half hour. Yeah, there you go. So that's it for the video. Leave a comment below as to what you think about Warhammer Adventures. Is it a good idea from Games Workshop? Are my fears founded, or am I, overreacting? Keep it polite, keep it civil. There's enough vitriol in the world. We don't need to add to it. We're civilized people. Let's act like it. In any case, more videos will be coming out whenever I get around to it. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good day. Or don't have a good day. You're adults. You can have any kind of day you want. See ya.